You guys really are suckers for punishment, aren't you? You absolutely cannot get enough, which means I just need to keep giving you more, and I still haven't got a dime for all of the therapy I'm gonna need when you guys have done with me. That's right, this is the top 10 SCPs that could end the world part 5. Yes, 5! I'm your host, Miss Rebecca J Felgate, and do you ever wonder why I like wearing bright colours? I guess it's because my mind is a dark place. A very dark place. So, I guess we'd better get crack-a-lacking and do this. Before we do though, a quick question. Have you ever seen SCP-527? Give him a quick Google, or here's a picture of him. He has a fish for a head. Now, recently I asked this question over on Life's Biggest Questions and the responses were so hilarious, so I thought I'd ask you here and throw it wide open. If you could have the head of any animal, what would you go for? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would personally go for eagle, so I could have like mega eyesight, and also I could have a beak and I could peck things like a mad lad. I've gone crazy, this is your fault. Please do like this video and share it with a friend. Check out the links in our description box to our most amazing Instagrams, and stick around to the end of the video. I might still be here, and if I am, I'll be reading comments. Coming in at number 10 we have SCP-1000 The Apes. So it seems that SCP-1000 is a Keta-class race of nocturnal omnivorous apes that evolved alongside Homo sapiens. It seems that the apes range between 5 to 10 feet in height and weigh between 90 to 270 kilos, which is pretty hefty. They are as intelligent as chimps but have the furrowed brows of gorillas. It seems that the SCPs are prone to carrying a disease that has a 2% chance of infecting anyone who looks at it and them dying on the spot. Beyond that, the likelihood of death increases by 1% for every 20 minutes of exposure. There are some of the ape species that carry higher strains of the disease, which means the person viewing it could actually have a 90% chance of death. It's a lot of percentages, but basically, you could look at it and die, which isn't great. The Foundation notes read, because of SCP-1000's close relation to humanity, it is considered likely that SCP-1000-F1 could eventually transfer to human carriers. Any instance of SCP-1000 finding its way to a major population center could constitute an end-of-the-world scenario with a minimum death toll of redacted. They continue by saying it would possibly lead to the extinction of humanity. Hurrah! So basically, if the apes came near us, we would maybe get infected, and then everyone who looked at us would die, and so on and so forth. Coming in at number 9, we have SCP-077 The Gas Skull. 077 is the top half of a human skull engraved with runes. Runes! The runes change every lunar month, and they are defined by the full moon rising over Ireland. The skull must not be exposed to any potato-based ingredients or any traces of the vegetable whatsoever. The skull has to be kept in a steel chamber, and every 8 hours Foundation personnel are to enter the containment and read the runes on the skull aloud, but they have to understand the full meaning. If the runes are not read, or they're read wrong or not understood, the skull will produce a luminescent green gas that turns those who are exposed to it to a viscous oozing mass, identified as the rotten flesh of a potato affected with potato blight. I suppose the reason that this could end the world if in the wrong hands, it's kind of obvious. It can produce a gas that turns people into rotten potatoes, which isn't great and also really wouldn't smell very nice. Coming into number 8, we have SCP-3317 The Propaganda. 3317 is a text document that has the ability to influence all written text, physical, printed, and digital. The SCP reads as a message from some kind of cult leader, supreme being, or perhaps even an alien civilization. The message is short and simple, but it will take over all aspects of a book or a magazine, no matter how long. I can read you some of it, but I really hope that the text doesn't appear in the subtitles. If so, oops, I've infected YouTube. It reads, a message from our leader, the glorious narrative revolution. It is begun, comrades. The fully vast and superbly wonderful expanse of all literature will bow down in joyous subservience before our creation, the creation of the development of a new textual empire. Let the cruel ruling class tremble at the very idea of our celebrated revolt. We will build gleaming towers of letters wrought with the brotherhood of all narrative extending unto the very heavens themselves. The walls that now separate our realms will buckle and collapse under our inestimable might, and the myriad fragments of text will be joyously united into a single glorious utopia. Join us, fellow countrymen. You have nothing to lose but your chains. Glory to the revolution! Libra Libras. Okay, I actually kind of really enjoyed reading that out, and does anyone else think that I'd be just like a really good dictator? Because anyway though, it seems that those who read the text are subject to indoctrination, brainwashing. Many express their hatred towards the American government, whoever's in charge. It is thought that the SCP wants to bring about a new world order, which historically has always ended well, hasn't it? Not. Coming in at number 7, we have SCP-4519, the Astronomer's Head. Okay, this SCP is embroiled in a whole load of drama with a terror cell called Sapphire, which we'll get to later. SCP-4519 is the severed head of an American astronomer called Carl Edward Sagan. It's now being used as an anti-religious weapon. Okay, say it twice over, and trust me, it doesn't make any more sense because that's the SCP Foundation for you. Like, what is happening here? The SCP is listed as a Keter class threat level red, which means it's not good. It is thought that the head is stored in a glass jar with preservatives and is somehow able to generate a field of an undetermined nature that can encompass an entire planet. If you're caught in its field, you will be comatose, and then you'll reawake to realize your so-called error of your own ways. Honestly, I don't really understand what's happening other than people rejecting religions and going a bit mental, but if the Foundation are worried about it and they've called it Code Red, I'm basically pretty worried about it too. Coming into number 6, we have SCP-079, aka Old Owl. Old Owl! Reminds me of Old Greg, who I really think should be an SCP. I'm Old Greg. But back to Old Owl. Old Owl is a sentient computer, and like, isn't that where the whole AI apocalypse scenario starts? It has passed the Turing test, which is a test device to sort humans from robots. This means that this SCP can pass for human, but it absolutely isn't. SCP-079 was created in the late 70s. In 1981, its owner attempted to code AI, which may be where it gained its sentience. The SCP is contained now, but it has a desire to connect to other computers. It was captured in the pre-internet era, thankfully, but if it was unleashed today, it is suspected that Old Owl would try and upload sentience to other computers, thus starting the whole cyber takeover thing. Oh, and also the SCP hasn't expressed an interest in the plight of SCP-682, who was on a previous one of our world-ending lists. So if the SCPs and the computers are working together to end the rule of pesky humans, I mean, we're all screwed. Coming into number 5, we have SCP-053 The Toddler. 053 presents as a cute, sweet 3-year-old girl with a very likeable personality. Unfortunately though, any human over the age of 3 who makes eye contact with her, touches her, or is simply near to her for 10 minutes or longer will become paranoid and homicidal. It also seems that those affected will try and kill SCP-053, which leads to more people trying to protect her because she looks like a kid. Those who do attempt to kill her will quickly experience a heart attack and die on the spot. 053, even if hurt, can also regenerate and seems entirely ignorant to all the drama. Coming into number 4, we have SCP-4417. These are the kinds of SCPs that give me an absolute headache. Like, honestly, give me a monster or a killer 3-year-old any day, not some anomaly contained in a warehouse, like protected by the Foundation under the ground in bloody Siberia or something. Oh, such a headache. It seems like the SCP is a human trapped in a high-grade vacuum suit. The subject in the suit seems to die and then regenerate after 27 years. Is it related to the fact that so many famous people die age 27? The Foundation notes read, the suit will be unlocked and SCP-44171 will be released. What influence this event will have on our current timeline is unclear, and the fact that it has not yet happened is believed to be an indication of the future occurrence of an XR-class societal regression scenario. Why though? Honestly, the SCP Foundation absolutely hurts my head. Their notes are sometimes like, lol, everyone dies because data expunged. Like I said, just give me a monster. And yes, what is that coming over the hill? My prayers have been answered at number 3. We have SCP-939. I say my prayers, but actually this SCP is some pretty satanic stuff. Look at it! At least it is a monster though, not like a bookmark that touches the 38th page of a first edition and suddenly causes an extinction event. So SCP-939 and friends are like nasty blood bag hyenas, which sounds pretty gross. The SCPs are pack-based predators that don't have any need to eat or absorb nutrients whatsoever, but they like to kill for fun. Their skins are translucent and they seem to be made up of hemoglobin. They are great climbers and will lure prey by imitating human speech in voices of prior victims, which especially messes up people who are out searching for their lost loved ones who have been killed by the beasties. This SCP is absolutely all killer and no filler. They don't have any organs, but they can produce offspring, which is worrying. If unchecked, this SCP can breed and kill at alarming rates. Oh, and they also emit a gas that causes temporary amnesia, just to literally confuse things. It's never simple with an SCP, is it? Never. Coming into number 2, we have SCP-3739 The Milk Flood. I feel like this is something created by the Beef and Dairy Network podcast. It's a surreal favourite of mine and I love it. This is a bovine belter of a creamy world ender. SCP-3739 is a dairy product that has infiltrated advertising collateral and is secretly transmitting images and signals into people's consciousness. Those who are exposed to the messages then dream of cows and milk, and they're drawn to buy dairy products infected with the SCP, a product called mind milk that eventually leads a consumer's brain to becoming curdled. Curdled! Is there anything worse than seeing curdling as well? Okay, that's one thing, but it seems that the dreams people have also have the ability to manifest in real life, and one SCP researcher dreamt of a biblical flood sending tsunamis of milk into population centers. They then reported this on a phone, and an automated voice message said please hold, but then a litre a minute of milk started coming out of the phone, which is pretty crazy. The Foundation notes read that the dream aligns with a designated MF class spilled milk scenario on the catastrophe classification list. Honestly, if I'm gonna die in a flood, I don't want it to be a milk flood. Or any flood, really. Finally, coming into numero uno, not actually an SCP at all, possibly something worse, we have the Terracell Sapphire. So I told you I'd get back to you on this one. Sapphire is terrifying as any SCP because it has figured out a way to capture SCP creatures and use them as terror weapons. The Foundation aims to contain, Sapphire aims to weaponize. So what's their beef? It seems that Sapphire are militant atheists. Now I'm all for questioning everything, but Sapphire absolutely wants to eradicate all religion, all religious people, and religious mentions throughout history. Not only that, they want to eradicate belief altogether. They carry out attacks primarily on civilians, who they'll happily kill for political headlines. Mess with civilians, I mean sure, but what would the Scarlet King do if he got wind of this? Or maybe Sapphire are the work of the Scarlet King. They want to destroy all religion, making way for a true and malevolent leader. Either way, an anti-Foundation Terracell who want to kill billions of religious people by weaponizing Keter-class SCPs, to me, they don't sound great. Well, that was quite the ride, wasn't it? Honestly, I think it is almost impossible to talk about SCPs in like a short, sweet, quick video. There's so much information that actually my head hurts and nothing makes sense. Although, I will say thank you to all of you. You guys did a gal a favour. A lot of you tweeted me and had solved the crossword for SCP-1665, which is the crossword. Now this appeared in our mysterious SCP lists, and here's an image of it completed for you. Now we know a little bit more information, I have to say I'm even more curious, although I'm not sure about the answer to 2 down. Coffea? That's not a word. Coffea. Coffifi. Ma? Okay, before I go, I'm gonna read some comments from part 4. You guys had a lot to say. It's Asher said, Rebecca, if you were an SCP, what would you do? Me, end the world. Rebecca mentions gummy worm SCP. Me, throws away bag of gummy worms from 7-Eleven. Yes, get rid. Although I have to say 7-Eleven Tostitos are great, especially cheese and jalapeno. A wonderful little cup of tea said, if I was an SCP, I would, when provoked, turn any person who drinks me into tea. Oh, provoked, I like it. I drink tea every day, it's only really a matter of time for me. Although, I would say let's call upon Theresa May and call a national British emergency, but like, things aren't great over there anyway. Life Simulator said, Rebecca is so redacted that she always says, expunged. Right? Okay guys, we have reached the end of the video and miraculously, I'm still here. Are you? If so, don't forget to let me know what animal head you would go for if you had to go for one. It's gone crazy out here, honestly. I think my brain has curdled. It's the milk tsunami. Like this video, share it with a friend, check out the links in our description box, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!